Hey guys.
Hey. I was like, oopsies, the mic is far away.
Welcome back to In Her Thoughts. Today we have a special guest. Mel.
No.
Is this the part where?
Yes.
Okay.
Introduce
Oh my God,
yourself.
sorry. Yeah. So I'm Mel. I don't know what you want to know. I'm stressed.
like if you're
I have a social anxiety, so this is. Like,
It's okay.
like what do you study?
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm a master's student right now. I study comms. I work for 2 nonprofits in communications. I do a lot of advocacy online. Right now, my pages are private, but yeah, usually I post on there and on my TikTok.
We love that.
And I have ADHD and a lot of mental illnesses, and I live.
Period.
We're gonna be talking about that today.
Yeah, about
right?
living, about being black
Yes.
and living in the society. Because, guys, it's Black History Month.
Black History
So
Month.
History Month.
Yeah.
And so, like, today's topic is going to be on black mental health and, like, how that looks like for us. How does that look like for you? Good black mental health, or, like...
Good? Oh my God. I don't know. I've actually never seen that. But I guess, like, just culture, like, if you want to go at a family perspective, I think being Gen Z has been, like, kind of eye-opening, because there's a lot of stuff, like, growing up that, like, I feel like I resented, for example, like, my older siblings or, like, my parents for, like, the way that they thought.
Sorry, are you the youngest?
I'm not. So we're 7.
Oh.
So the dynamic, so I basically live, like, 2 dynamics. So, like, when we were all together in a family, I was, like, the middle child, essentially. And that's when we were, like, that's when the older siblings were living with us. And then there's the second dynamic where I was, like, more like the oldest, which was also different for me. We're the oldest daughter, for example, in the house. But, yeah, so there's some things, some thoughts, some ideologies, some perspectives that, like, I never really understood. And I feel like now, like, as I'm getting older, I can understand and I can, like, give, like, some grace for that. Even though it's, like, I'm not. I don't know if you've had that similar experience.
Yeah, I'm the youngest sibling.
Okay, lucky you.
So that's like it's been being the youngest sibling in my family dynamic, which is kind of, it was different because I didn't necessarily get to have everything I wanted, because we also were, like, going through depth at one point. And it's like I didn't get, like, some things, and also because of that, because my parents were focused and stressed about other things, like, the focus wasn't necessarily always on me. Like, I had honestly a lot of freedom. Like, I had a lot of freedom.
That is real.
Because, like, I remember, like, when I was younger, my parents were more, like, on us, or, like especially my dad when it came to school. Like,
that
he
is
was
so
just, like,
true.
really, like, I had my parents involved in my school, especially in like elementary school.
Yeah,
Afterwards, like 4th grade, when I was in 4th grade, my brother graduated from like 12th grade.
Yeah.
You know? And then my sister graduated when I was in 7th grade, and then my other sister when I was in 8th grade. So by 8th grade, after my siblings graduated, my parents were not going to like any like parent teacher conference or anything like that. Like, it was like, yeah, Aoife's in school. Like, you know, like, there wasn't
the
that
neglect
much.
is real.
The neglect is real. The amount of times, like, 8th grade was like my first time I had a breakdown. And, like, I was just, I just remember waking up in the morning and just feeling so off. And just feeling just, like, I just want to cry. Yeah. And I remember blasting the Black Panther album.
Girl, it is
so good.
Also, you're such a baby. I forgot how little you were, because you were, like, when I was younger, you said Black Panther. I was like, the fuck? Yeah. But, okay.
Yeah, 8th grade was the first Black
Panther. Yeah.
No, I just realized.
Album was
that
album?
Good.
Fire.
Really, really good album.
So good. And I was just, like, I just remember, like, listening to that and crying. Like, what is my life?
You know? Yeah,
and, like,
existential
nobody
crisis.
understood. Like, yeah.
No,
and then
sure.
now that I'm, like, honest about my mental health, because I'm, like, I don't even want to explain, like, some things. So I'm just, like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So, like, if I tell them I'm depressed right now, so, like, at least it's going to be, like, a little bit less. But then for them, it's like, like, you're dealing with all of these things now because of this circumstance and
Yes,
this evilness and this evil
yes.
thing, and I'm like,
It's
no,
always
I've been depressed.
It's
I've
always
been,
about
like,
some religious type of evilness.
and it always goes back to religion, especially when it comes to Black people, I feel.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
real. And sorry, I want to like let you like hop in a second. I just want to add something, because you were talking about like being the youngest. So I wasn't necessarily the youngest, but because we're so many siblings, I kind of had that same similar thing where it's like, okay, you go through it, you go through it, you go through it. So by the time like that, like I was in high school, like yeah, my mom did not give no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like she didn't care, but like she was a single mom, you know, working, like doing her thing, and like I admire her so much for that. But like she couldn't be home, right? Because she was working. So basically, like it was free for all. Like I kind of, you know, did a little bit like whatever, and like I would have friends over, like I would throw some parties, like I would like, even now like people know me because of like that one party I threw.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying?
That's iconic.
And so yeah, or sometimes I would just go
That's
out.
iconic.
I just go out and I would like come back the next day, you know, because I fell asleep there, and I was like, I wouldn't even think about like, oh, I should text my mom. I'd just be like, oh, it's chill. So yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's
real.
valid.
That's real. And like, I wish I could have done that though. Like the throwing parties, but I had.
I was testing limits.
Like I did not test limits like that. I don't know why. I think it was also just like the religious tension, like too. Like it was like the fear of like making a mistake was like really hard for me to get over. Not that I didn't make mistakes or that like I just, you know, but it was just like it was so much harder. Much harder. Like I really wouldn't be me right now if I didn't like exit the church in the way I did. Genuinely, because me like 3 years ago, half the things I do now, like I wouldn't have thought that I would have done before.
So valid.
You know?
So valid.
And honestly, it has helped my mental health because I feel like I've starting to become more like whatever myself is supposed to be. But like I'm still figuring that out because I really love the idea of like getting back to your younger self. Yeah. And I feel like my youngest self was my most authentic self.
Oh my god.
Like I think I was a very outgoing and like charismatic child, and I really didn't care. Yes. And at one point I kind of just lost that spark entirely. And I think it especially happened during high school because you have like the pressures of like everything, your family, and maybe some people work because some people start working in high school. And like people around you. Please, one of the things that killed me the most about high school was honestly having to go to school. Yeah, so difficult to get out of bed. Energies are so negative in high school, especially. And catty and petty, and the negativity can rub off on you so clicky. Yeah. The negativity can rub off on you so easily too, especially as a child. Like I wasn't the best 7th or 8th grader sometimes, like I can't lie. But then you start reflecting in like 9th grade and you're like, oh, you guys are kind of crazy. And then by 12th grade, the crazy people who like didn't get over their craziness, it's like y'all are done for,
and they're still crazy.
Yeah, it's true. And then you then have to like overcome their nonsense that they put on you. It's like
I find it's always best like I don't know about you guys, but after high school I personally like I was able to keep like a few friends, but not like nowhere near as close to like the relationship we had in high school. Like if anything, the people I'm closer to are people that I met like outside of high school in university, or like people that like I wasn't friends with in high school and like somehow like reconnected with like randomly.
That's real.
Yeah, I think that's relatable though, because like I know like obviously my experience is very different. But, like, growing up, like, going into high school, it's definitely, like, I was explaining this to, like, one of my classes where it's, like, a different kind of social hierarchy in high school. Yeah. And it's, like, obviously, my high school is very predominantly white. And it's, like, a different kind of social hierarchy because there isn't a hierarchy about race anymore. And it's, like, oh, like, you have to be this type of white.
No, that's actually very true.
It gets very compartmentalized. So,
as soon as you, like, kind of move away from, like, the culture that, like, manifests
the typical whiteness.
Yeah, and it's just, like racism is so accepted, and, like, just saying the most out of pocket shit is so accepted. And then like as soon as you're the one person who says like, hey guys, this is really weird and we shouldn't be saying stuff like this, it's like, whoa, why are you not white? It's like,
yeah,
like, you know,
it's like you're the freak.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like you're the minority now. It's like you can't act within like you're like the black sheep now of the school. So it's like in a way I kind of relate to you of like going to school and just being like, y'all are so petty and nasty and weird, and you never grew out of that. Like I'm sure if I were to like text a lot of people from high school, like they're still in the same mindset and they're not growing
absolutely.
at all.
And I guess I can relate to a mix of both of you because I actually like live in the suburbs. So I went to a predominantly white school, so I got a mix of that. Like I saw those hierarchies and the clickiness, and then what ended up happening with like the actual like minorities was that we were kind of just like excluded like fully. And there's actually like a lot of like, I want to say like covert, but that shit was over as fuck because they weren't even like trying to like hide that shit. No, but a lot of racism. So I get, honestly, it was probably best that there's only white people at your school because
I can't even imagine. And like even like it's so weird because even I think there was like 2 people of color at my school, and I think they were black. And it's like, no, because I just want to call it as it is. Like, they were black, okay? Like, I'm not going to call them people of color.
It was you saying, I think.
Yeah, I think. Because you know what? They never showed up because I like, valid, because why would you show up at a school whose, like, culture is, like, being racist and saying the N-word constantly?
Yeah, no, it's...
And it's like, I don't know if they just changed schools or not, and I don't want to call them out, obviously.
But you know but it's also not that easy to do. You know, sometimes it's the district that you live in. Like, your parents have a job there, and, like, you have no choice to go to school there.
But it's either that, like, you have to conform to that whiteness, or you just get fully excluded.
No, exactly.
So.
Like, I don't know about you, Faye, but I've been called an Oreo, like, so many times in my life.
Sorry, that's not funny.
And no, girl, you can laugh, but and it's funny now because it's like, but yeah, so essentially, yeah, black on the outside, white on the inside, double stuffed. Yeah. But yeah, so like in elementary school, like I never fit in with like the black kids because they would be like, girl, you're white, you know what I'm saying? So like sometimes like but like sometimes like it's like you have to be a part of like this you know like what a black card is. It's like I got mine revoked or something because like
you were too odd for them.
Like I was like, I'm a little bit weird, I'm a little bit indie, I'm a little bit artsy. Like I actually didn't start making friends until like I want to say like 12th grade and like university. I had like was in these friend groups, for example, but I was never invited to like cookout, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get invited to things outside of school. So everything that happened in like within the school environment. But yeah, I was a weirdo. So but yeah, and it seems like they would assume like I didn't like I like rap music, you know what I mean? But like I listen to Kendrick, I don't listen to Migos, which is still good, but it means like it's not what but c'est they're like and I'm saying you can't elevate your soul that way, like all power to you, but I just mean like that's not the type of. So like I would have like girls in my class, for example, they would assume like, oh, like you didn't hear that new like whatever track, like you don't know who that is, like blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, I don't know who that is, like put on some Lauryn Hill, like I'm sorry. And then like but then like for the you need that. Not that you need that. I meant like in general, like you need you know what I meant. You know. Sorry. I'm autistic.
No, I didn't even take it like that.
Sorry.
That was funny.
I can be very literal sometimes. But anyways, but then there's the white kids in my class. Then like for them, then I was a little bit like too black, so it's like
sorry, you sound like a biracial talking
but like you know what I mean, but which isn't, but I'm not but I'm actually not biracial. I'm fully black.
No, but it's
this
very
is really
common,
felt like that. It was
black
weird
suburban experience too. I'm not gonna lie, I've used like you're an Oreo to somebody, but that was also just because they're hanging out with the racist white girls. What does she want me to tell you?
That I feel like is a valid.
You were hanging out with the racist white girls, and you want me not to call you an Oreo.
That is a valid use.
I was very confused by that.
I usually use the word coon, but
no, but that back then I didn't like. I didn't know what I was. You know, I watched Boondocks when I was 10th grade, but I didn't click the coon was. you know? So I just called Oreo. So, but then, like, I was told also, like, you talk white. I've been told talk white
that
what
one.
Does that
since
even
I've
mean,
been a
though?
child, I've been told I talk white.
Me
and
too.
Okay, wait,
so
enlighten
annoying.
me. I have no idea what that
It's
means.
so annoying. I remember
explain
one time.
explain to her.
Talia? I would tell Talia's story. Talia told me one time that she was speaking in, like, French, right? And this person was like, you sound like a white person speaking French. And she's like, well, guess what? I learned French by white Canadians. What do you want me to sound like?
That's actually
like, thank
real.
you.
That's so real.
I am born here. I live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to sound like? You sound like a valley girl. Okay, I live in the suburbs.
But
yeah.
How do you want me to change?
but also,
not just that, why are you characterizing that as, like, me
as whiteness,
not being black?
Exactly.
And me not being black?
Yeah.
Me not being black? Like, why? I never asked for not that. Like, I never asked for not that. Like, I'm a black girl forever. And that's just what pissed me off the most. Especially when it just came to, like, changing hairstyles.
Oh my god, I'm glad you brought up hair. Hair is such a... I'm on a journey right now,
why
actually.
Why are you trying to look white? Bleaching the brows. Like, just stuff like that. It's like you're trying to, like, separate yourself from blackness, apparently.
Which
but
is...
it's like, I'm trying to become myself. Which is helping my mental health.
Exactly.
You losers. You, like, some of them want to, like, oh my god.
You losers.
It's like, why do you want to kill yourself? Because, honestly, a lot of black people who are dealing with hard mental health right now, a part of it is because they're having difficulties, like, struggling with their identity.
Acceptance
of yourself is very hard, and it's like a lot of black people are also part of the church, which can be very difficult when it comes to accepting things about your identity. So it's like, how are you supposed to survive in this world if you don't even know yourself or like yourself? And then you're trying to find different ways to cope, but it's like, this is not working. And it just makes it hard.
Sorry, I'm glad you mentioned identity, because I was gonna kind of, like, get into that, because I was gonna ask you about, like, how you felt about your hair and, like, how that was for you throughout high school, and maybe also like, I don't know, like, let me know if this is taboo for the podcast. Maybe cut it out if you don't talk about it. But, like,
taboo.
Okay, because I just mean, because, like, coming from the church and, like, being pansexual, like, I dealt with, like, a lot of, like, internal homophobia, as well as, like, just struggling with my sexuality and femininity in general, like, so, like, masturbation, for example, or, like female and self-pleasure, for example, like, all of it being, like, very male oriented, and essentially, so that's something that I, like, I had a lot of issues with throughout high school, a lot of shame, guilt,
a lot of shame.
So, like, I don't know about you guys.
Around sexuality, a lot of shame around sexuality, a lot of shame around, like, pleasure, and it's, like, especially coming from the church, it's really hard to cope even now, and even trying to figure out things, because sometimes you still feel like you're doing something wrong, but then, you know, like, it's just, like, we're going back to, like, the same feeling, and I don't know, like, it can be really triggering, because sometimes, like, I know it's not, like, I know where my path I'm going right now is, like, the right path for me, but it's, like, little things of, like, when you hear, like, family members being like, oh, the reason why you're depressed or something, or, like, you're not, is because, like, you don't have God within you.
You're not connecting with the Lord.
You're not connecting with the Lord, and it's like, it could be very triggering, because it's like you start thinking, oh, what if it's because of that? But then you have to remind yourself you're feeling this way even before,
and because you're brainwashed.
Yeah, and, like, I
don't know why.
Even
like, listen,
even when I was, like, in 8th grade or, like, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, when I was, like, really, like, into church or into youth or whatnot, I was still very struggling with my, like, identity, with my sexuality and all of that, and I had a lot of shame with it, and it's like, I don't know why we're acting as if, like, then when you thought I was all holy thou or whatever, that I wasn't dealing with these things before.
Never goes away.
It never goes away, and I realized too then I struggled, like, I knew then too, it didn't make sense to me that, like, if God made me that he wouldn't love me the way I was, you know. It never made sense to me. Even when I would talk to my sister about it, and, like, our conversations would always be like, but God loves. So, like, why are we always bringing
It's
it up?
messed up,
It's
eh?
messed up
It's
because it
messed
always
up.
like it's very like you can't figure out.
You can't
things.
really do.
You can't
You
really
can't
do
really
anything. You feel
work
like a little
a way
prisoner.
around it. Exactly.
You can't really work around it, and I don't think people understand that when
Mm-hmm.
people are talking about struggling.
Exactly.
And like if you never have, you talk about it so lightly
That's
and so
the thing.
flippantly.
Exactly.
And I've seen and heard Christians talk about it so flippantly and so lightly. It's like it's not something you just get rid of. Like, I'm sorry, you've never looked at somebody you've been like, that is a gay boy, like, you know, like there's no way,
Yeah.
there's no way, there's no way straight, there's no way. And it's like, why would you want somebody to actually just like hide their entire being, their entire existence? Like, do you know how suffocating that is?
Like, I think it's just easier for them because then they don't have to recognize like their biases and like what the actual problem is, because I think, like, we were talking about this, especially like in men in religion, like they love to hide behind it. Like, they'll be like the shittiest people and be like, oh no, I'm a man of God.
But so
like,
because
you know what I mean?
that's the thing. If we can just like get into it real quick, like that's my thing with like Christianity in particular, because I'm actually a big fan of Islam. I love Allah. I love the Muslim religion. I'm not Muslim, but I don't know, maybe one day.
I agree.
Yeah, so anyways, I love Allah. And I'm very spiritual, and I feel like that's why I connect a little bit more to like Hinduism, Buddhism, like on that side, and less to Judaism and Christianity, especially Catholicism. Anyways, whatever.
You have that.
You know what I'm saying?
We know what you mean.
Thank you, girl. And especially that, because there seems to be like this whole holier than thou, like absoluteness of Christianity that I find other religions don't have. And like, maybe like fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that one of the first commandments is that like you're not allowed to like believe in anything other than him.
But it's kind of like that in the other religions
It
too.
is.
It just looks very different.
But the way that he does it is saying as if like, well, one thing that I feel like it makes them hypocrites is that like you can pretty much do anything and then just like repent, so you can murder, do all this stuff, but like you're mad because I'm gay. And then the other thing is the way that like they manipulate that commandment to make it seem as though God in the Christian religion is absolute, whereas like I find other religions don't really do it that way. They're like, oh, you know, come as you are, whereas like I find Christianity is like, do this, and like you can be a part of it, and as long as you don't do those things, you're good, and you can do all the other sins that you want, but just apologize.
But they also say, Christians will say, come as you are, and then change. That's what it is.
So
because they'll continuously say, no, like we were saying come as you are, but then you want me to change things about me that are just like not even like, it's not even morality based or like based on my empathy level or whatever. It's because of what I honestly can't control. So like, what do you want me to do about that?
Yeah, come as you are where?
What do you want me to do about that? Like, I don't know.
Send location.
I feel like Christians are, they're like the fastest to judge too. Like, if obviously I'm sure you know a lot of people who are Muslim. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I meet someone who's Muslim, they're so like welcoming so quickly. At least the people I've met. And it's because like they,
in my personal experience,
they don't step in to tell you what you should be doing with Allah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's between
it's
you.
Your personal, and
journey. It's so personal. Like I don't understand how, because I think religion should be like that, just like how spirituality is. It's a very individual experience, and no one's gonna tell me that my experience is invalid. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like Christians are so quick and so fast to do that. It's like, well, like you said, like you're pansexual, and it's like, well, God won't accept you then. And it's like, that is so stupid to me, because it's like, how I was on our last podcast, I was like, y'all wouldn't even know Jesus if you walked right in front of you.
Yeah, because you guys are against every single thing he believed in.
I was like, if Jesus came up to you straight up and said like something, they would be like, you're so liberal.
And hot take, I think Jesus was gay.
No,
or bisexual. 12 disciples, he washed their feet before he died on the cross for them. And Mary Magdalene, like, I'm just saying. Anyways.
Oh, but you
I
know
love
people
that.
Say,
he's gay.
Is it Sarah and, no, I think it was in the Old Testament. It was, oh my gosh.
Moise?
No. It was
Abraham?
No. Oh my gosh. The two women who traveled together in the Old Testament. What is their names?
Oh, the two that were running away from that man, and then wait, no, I don't know.
We'll find it. I'm gonna put it.
I'm gonna put it in the caption.
I'm gonna put it in the caption. But like people were talking about it, like Christians who were deconstructing were talking about how like there's like this word, and the word that they used was like they cleaved, which means like
they scissored.
They cleaved. I don't know.
They did what they did.
Oh my goodness.
They did what they did.
I'm gonna start saying
That's
that.
What it said. They cleaved.
It's like, what did you guys do? We cleaved.
We cleaved.
So
yeah, what?
A little cleave and chill. I love that.
But then I find it funny because then some Christians will hear this and find it offensive. However, you still read this in the Bible very offensive and aggressive, like things happening to women. I remember like reading literally in Genesis, I think it was like, I forget which chapter it was, but it's about the story of Lot and his daughters, or story before that. I don't know. But I remember that the woman was basically gang raped.
Yeah.
And then the brothers then like went and like, you know, killed everyone, but also I'm pretty sure they raped people too. I don't know.
So, yeah.
You see, like that's violent too, but you guys don't associate that with violence, but you associate probably what we just said as violent. So I just had to
lay it down for them, babe.
I found it
Well, it's
interesting.
also like, wasn't there a study where like Mary herself, because like, you know, they call her like a virgin, but there was like a study done where they're like, no, like at the time, like a group where like if you were raped, like you would go see this group of women.
No, that is not funny.
Okay.
I retract my laugh.
Okay,
I did not think that's what you were gonna say.
Like, I don't know if we're like talking about the
no,
same
we're not
thing.
talking about the same thing, girl. I would never laugh at. I would never.
Wait a second.
Okay, yeah. So
please, oh my God.
The theory is that like she was raped and she went to go see this group of women, and the women used to basically like reclaim that and be like, no, like you're a virgin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a virgin. Like, no one took that away from you. So then, but she got pregnant by this.
Yes.
So she was claiming to be a virgin.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, you're pregnant, so it must be God.
Right.
But it was actually, she was just raped.
Yes.
And she reclaimed her virginity, essentially.
Yeah. And that's fucking horrible. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually what happened, because, like, it's still a thing today, like people reclaiming their virginity.
Yeah, because like let's be real, like guys, I know the Bible has a lot of things, but getting pregnant by God, by an entity, guys, that doesn't happen. Like not even in real life. Like otherwise it would have happened again.
That ain't no sign. But
you know what I mean?
But what I thought you were gonna say is because essentially there's some folklore about like Mary because of immaculate conception, and at the time it was just like a thing that like horny teens would say, like because they were still fucking and they would get pregnant and they would tell their parents like, oh no, I didn't do anything, I don't know how it happened, and then like everyone was like claiming like to be like immaculate conception, and like she was like the one that like coined it or some shit like that.
Like there's so many like theories, because it's like, let's be real, like the girl wasn't a virgin, no matter how it happened,
no matter how you spin it.
Yeah,
I feel like also with school too, like I don't know about you and like being at like a Catholic school and being like, wait, did you go to Catholic school?
Yes, I went to a white Catholic school. I went to everything that was horrible for me. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to like.
That's actually real. Like being at that Catholic school, how was it when still like, wait, were you like going through like, did you have like an identity type of crisis like in high school, or were you just like till later on? Or like was it like you were trying to figure out things in high school still, or no?
No, absolutely. I think I had an identity crisis. Like, and I also blacked out a lot of it, which is how I know I was having an identity crisis. Because it's funny, because recently I was like looking at my old Facebook posts, and I joke about it sometimes. I'll post it on my story, but I was actually insane. I seen that. Like I was literally insane. But yeah, no, I tried so many different fashion styles. I tried so many different hairstyles, so many different like hobbies. I tried just basically just like trying to fit in as much as possible. Like a lot of things that I did like damaged the shit out of my hair, like with relaxer and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, hair in school, like in the predominantly white school, like that was hard for me. Even with the other black girls there too, like you still had to have your hair in check because they would still touch it. And it was hard, especially like I remember in not elementary school. When I got to high school, like middle school, I had braids after braids after braids after braids because I refused to have my natural hair out. Like it was not until like, oh, I want to protect it. It was just because I did not feel beautiful with it, and that really affected my mental health. Because being at school, it was just like draining going to school and not feeling like you look good. And I don't think like people take that into consideration, that black girls don't feel like attractive or good about themselves sometimes
just by waking up. So, like, you know, you can, like, a lot of white girls, I think, and anyone who actually just doesn't have like that hair texture in general, but like take for granted, I think, that you can like wake up and like literally just like go out and leave the house and not be judged and like be accepted by society, whereas like for us, like there's something that needs to be done with our hair, whereas like I don't agree with it because I don't think it should be that way. Like I think we should be allowed to like go out and just, you know, do, and there are times where actually when I was younger and I just like want to go out some super quick and my mom would be like, you have to go do your hair, you know. It's like, it's so ingrained.
It really is. It's really exhausting too, because when you're trying to get over it or trying to like break through it, and then you have like the little whispers in your ears constantly being like, no, don't do that, like it looks weird or this is a problem. But it's just like, you guys want to conform so bad actually, and I don't want to. It makes me feel like I'm killing a part of myself.
No, absolutely.
So it's like, why go through that? It's really exhausting, especially like being a black girl trying to do her natural hair in high school and it not looking a specific way, because people say they love natural hair but they don't like black natural hair. You don't
tell them.
Stop saying you do. And my thing about the whole natural hair community that really pisses me off is this whole cry about the natural hair police or whatever. I feel like it's anti-blackness. Black women are telling you that the space isn't for you because it actually isn't. The hair movement wasn't started for you because it was started by black women for black women with coarse hair, not for defining your hair, which I don't know why we don't talk about that as also being low-key a little bit falling into like conformity and like anti-blackness too, like being so obsessed with like defining curls, like cool, cute, but like if it's not, like it's not that deep. But it's almost like fetishizing, it's like, though, it's, like no, but not just that. It's like, there you go, like your natural hair is beautiful, because nobody's gonna say, oh, your hair is so beautiful if they don't see no curl pattern. They won't, because nobody thinks of natural hair now as black hair. I don't think they do. They really associate with curly hair, and that's why I need these curly hair girls to honestly shut up if you're not black. Like, especially when it comes to, I don't know why it's 2025 and I'm searching up.
I was gonna say it messes up the search,
and then I'm still not seeing hair like mine.
You have to say black, you have to natural, you have to put so many keywords.
And then when you do, it's like you get the light skin girls on top, and it's like
you have to change the tone, on Pinterest,
and it's just like, oh my gosh, like there's not a lot, and that really affects your mental health. Like,
it does.
And why? Because we're talking about a bad hair day, and it actually triggers me.
No, a real bad hair day. You ain't known a bad hair day. A bad hair day where I call in sick to work, bitch. That's a bad hair day.
Because not just that, like the whole world is actually against you. You go to school and your hair doesn't look good. You have black girls looking at you crazy. You have black guys commenting at you. Then you have like the exterior things that's just not feeling good about yourself. Like, that is draining. That is draining.
It is.
And like you then start dealing with a lot of self-hatred, self-loathing. 100%. Is so bad. And like nobody wants to talk about black mental health, especially when it comes to youth. And especially when it comes to like appearance. But it's rooted in appearance. It's rooted in white supremacy, frankly.
In Western beauty standards.
For sure.
Can I tell you a quick little? So you probably remember, because we used to work together at an unfortunate establishment, but that's besides the point. Anyways, cut out. Not to say the name. We don't claim her. But anyways, so when I used to work there, I was like going through the beginning stages of my hair journey, and I had essentially just shaved my head, and I was fully bald, and my mom had like really encouraged me to just like leave it like that, and then not do anything to it. And then I got to work, and then after that, one of my like male coworkers was like, was like, what happened? Like, what did you do to your hair? And I was like,
oh, you never
but anyways, the first thing he did was comment on my appearance. And by the way, I was his supervisor at the time, so the audacity was actually crazy. And I was like, yeah, like, this is my head. Like, I shaved my head. Like, this is me.
Like, I shaved my head.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah. And then after that, he was like, oh yeah, like, basically something along the lines of like, to each their own kind of thing. But he said he basically liked it better like when I had long hair, and I was like,
okay,
what the
So
fuck?
I didn't ask.
And
okay,
anyway,
and
but
what?
and although
And
like,
what?
but as much as I wanted to say like I didn't care, it actually like did mentally like fuck with me, because that's basically when I started wearing wigs, and I was like going through like my whole wig journey, and like I like basically like didn't want a wig on my head. You know, it was crazy.
But that's
so
funny.
expensive.
That's funny because me and my friend, we were talking about how like when you wear wigs, you're attracting black men, and when you wear braids, you're attracting white men. And I live by.
What's up with
that?
that?
It is so
Wait, what's up with that?
No. Eat that up, because
It is so
y'all
true.
are sick when it comes to having like a bust down, and that's why I'm like,
But especially the colors. They love them colors. Oh my god, the amount of black men I had in my DM when I was blonde.
The honey blonde.
The Beyonce honey blonde, yes.
Sick.
honey
And I'm
blonde.
just like, so you guys don't realize how that can like affect people's like.
Okay, but
well-being.
like, what's
they're
the
like, but
phenomenon
I like natural
with
hair.
this?
Oh, the phenomenon.
Yeah,
with
like
it?
what's the theory
Honestly,
here?
I think my theory with it
Is that they like white women?
yes.
And that is the closest
don't like a
proximity
fro.
to that. I think, like, the closer that you are to whiteness, I feel like the closer you are to attracting black men.
Like you have to look a
There's
certain
layers
way
to it. There's layers
to be
to
attractive
see.
as a black woman, and you have to be a certain way to be attracted to certain like races.
Yeah, like avu, like alt. I find like alt POC women attract white men versus black men, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like black men tend to not be, and it does happen.
Also, it depends on where you live, because I feel like we live in Ottawa too, but if you look at like Atlanta or Miami.
See, so I was gonna say depends where, or even like in Los Angeles too. Like I've seen some yummy people on TikTok, like men and women.
They're also very queer. Too.
Exactly. And sorry, I was just thinking about it. And sorry.
I love you for that. You actually just
Yeah, I actually forgot yeah. Okay, lost in thought. I actually don't know what
okay.
I was gonna end my
It's
sentence.
okay.
But you know what I mean.
I also can't even remind you where you were at. Cause
I was also thinking about like what they look like.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
like-
I was like thinking about this one.
I was like, where are the baddies at though?
This is one. You guys probably know him. Anyways. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, because we talked about this in another one of our podcasts. How you say how like black men are so like ashamed to be with white people.
Oh,
Like they'll always
you
like
know?
hold their
See,
hands
it's
and like
weird.
side eye.
It's so
Like,
true.
It's so weird.
It's like, do you even like your girlfriend?
They
do
be in
you
that Twitter
even
chain.
like your girlfriend? It's like it's
Yeah.
okay. Like I'm not penalizing you, but black men themselves, when they piss me off with this, they love to turn the black women are so aggressive. Like men, it's like they don't care about mental health. So
And
now
can
you
I be
care about mental
honest?
health.
All of
Now
a
you
sudden.
care about mental health.
Can I be honest?
Like you're not kind. Yeah.
I've only heard those comments from black men. Like I'll be dead honest.
Clock
I've
it.
never heard like a white person personally say that like a black woman's being aggressive or something. Like I'm sure they're definitely out there, but I personally have only heard those comments from like black men are saying that like, oh,
'Cause
the
she
black
lives in
girls
the
are too
suburbs.
loud. Like,
But yeah, that's
Suburban
that's
black men.
internalized.
Oh,
internalized
yo,
racism for
you
sure.
can never speak your truth. That was one thing too that really killed the mental
Yeah.
health. Is that when you spoke up about things in high school that you
You're
felt
too
that it was
loud.
difficult.
You're
Oh,
too
Yeah,
you're,
loud.
you're
You're
doing
bad.
too much. You're aggressive,
you're
and it was
going
by
against
your
the
own
grain.
community, and it's like,
Yeah. I used
damn.
to be called like extra all of the time.
Yes.
And then like people like I feel like felt it was a compliment, but at some point I was
it's like,
also
guys,
like,
this is a microaggression.
you know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, basically you're saying that I'm
Yeah.
too much. Like I don't really
Yeah.
know what that means.
It
but
was a lot because like,
you're not doing
even,
enough.
like speak up. You're not
Yeah.
doing enough. And they hated when you were actually doing something, and it actually used to get me so annoyed and frustrated and angry because I'm like, maybe I am doing too much. But it's like, looking back, I didn't do enough. I didn't do enough. You guys don't know how to stand up for things. Like, they were always talking, and I actually did something. And I'm like, the difference is that you guys just talk. I actually want to do something. Yeah. But when I do it, nobody else can talk anymore.
Action-oriented.
And it's so, it always aggravated me because then it made me feel like I was crazy, like I was doing too much. And
gaslighting.
Like,
They were gaslighting us.
Well, damn, like I really did not have a safe space at school. No, and it was very like unfortunate because especially when people are like, high school was like such a great time for me. What the frick?
Bitch, where?
What the
That's
frick?
actually my worst nightmare.
What the frick?
I would never time travel, only go to the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Future. I'm excited to see what 30 looks like for me, honestly.
Yes. I'm 30? So excited to get old, guys. Like, I can't lie. Like,
I already have back problems, so I don't know about that one. But.
Yeah, me too.
No, 30 just because I feel like money's stable.
30, 40.
Right now, we're working for things, so that's just ghetto. I don't really care about
yeah, like, this is like the buffer era.
Like, it's the buffer era.
You can get your money up, trust
Yeah, but 30, my money will be up. I can, like, actually travel whenever I want to. Yeah. I can actually do whatever I want.
But the only thing... Let me just say, because my mom always says this, if you say something out loud, you're putting it into the universe. So, like, even though, like, you're making a plan to, like, be rich in your 30s, don't say, like, you're only going to be rich in your 30s. Because like, then you're, like, limiting yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just going to be rich.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Just say, like, I will be rich in the future.
Yeah.
I will be
rich right now.
So your future could be tomorrow, 2 years from now, 10 years from now.
Tomorrow.
And you guys are really smart girls, so I think that that's very limiting to say about yourself.
Yes, so. We love that. We love that. Yeah.
But oh my god. Oh yeah, I was gonna say something earlier. My ADHD, like back to the whole hair thing. But like in elementary school, like I don't know about you, but I was like fighting for my life. Like, it actually became like an episode of Criminal Minds when a braid was found on the floor.
Dun, dun.
Oh my god. The way we have to like, we all have to like, like a flashlight, bitch, inspecting that hair, seeing like, they're like, which one of you has a strand?
Yours?
Which one of you has a strand? Madame! Bitch! Like, the way, like, sometimes...
Who gives a fuck?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be tying a ponytail, and if that shit came out, putting it in my pocket. I'm not dealing with that. Like, it's actually so scary. Like, the stress. You can't even put it in the garbage. They find it. It was crazy.
No.
It was crazy.
It
was like Most Wanted.
Most Wanted.
It's like Melisol.
Yeah, no me siento así como
Most Wanted. Dun, dun.
Who's this for?
Who's hashtag 1B hair is this?
Who's this for? Pick it up. It looks like like they would actually do that.
That's crazy.
Like, they couldn't just throw it
out. They would actually like come like near you and be like, oh,
like, who gives a fuck? Like, you can't put it back in, girl. Like, who gives a... If it's mine, I don't give a fuck. Like,
you can't put it
back. No, that's actually so true. Like, when is it gonna change? You actually...
it's like the fuck.
Thank you so much. I was actually...
let me just go get it rebraided.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was just looking for that. Like, yeah, that's actually so true.
It's like they're just trying to play like Where's Waldo with the braid. Like, they're just bored, I swear. Like, what the fuck?
They were.
No, guys, one time, like, I lost my wallet in 9th grade. Tell me why they brought it back senior year. they were like,
anything in it?
It was my student card.
Okay, but I'm like, you robbed me and who brought it back? Like, what?
The, like, principal, like, the people,
okay.
I was like,
robbed you?
This is yours. Okay, you couldn't give that to me, like, 4 years back. Why did you give this to me?
They took your money.
With all my gift cards and all my money.
They took your money.
Like, okay. But that's so random. Yeah, sorry, I had to, like, say that. That was funny.
No, that was funny. No, it's okay.
But
that's cray. Delicious.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. And, like, I feel like, how is your, like, university experience, though, when it comes to, like, dealing with your mental health?
Honestly, I want to say it was very eye-opening, but I definitely, like, crashed out several times. Probably in the middle of a crash out as we speak. But I think that being isolated because I was already kind of isolated, but in this capacity I like actually didn't know the people I was being isolated from, so it kind of like made it almost worse. So I kind of like was not going to school. I was just very unmotivated and not participating, and I had felt like I was directionless, if you will. And it's gonna sound crazy because COVID is probably like one of the most devastating things that has ever,
But you felt that peace.
I did feel that peace.
That's so real. Me
And
too.
in COVID is where I actually discovered like so much stuff. Like I figured out that I knew that I was like gay, but I didn't know I was pansexual. So I figured that out. I kind of figured out my style, started thrifting, getting into music. I like got into TikTok. Like I just like actually started doing a bunch of shit because I like actually had the time to like sit down and like
Be with
reflect.
yourself and reflect.
And that's basically in uni how I felt. And then once I got back in my 3rd and 4th year, I like kind of basically like got my shit together, and I was like, I want to actually do my master's now, like all that, and like that's basically what I'm doing now. And I think I actually found a way to enjoy the independence and the isolation, and I realized it's actually now my preference, and it's what I lean into because I actually succeed better like alone, like in solo work. I think
I really relate to that. COVID was definitely like a eye-opening moment, I think, for a lot of teens, and like something that like people always say like, oh, you discover who you are like kind of like in high school, but I think you really discover who you are like in the years after high school,
so too.
Because you're just kind of conforming to a certain
buffering.
personality.
Loading.
It's like, oh, I think this is who I am.
Exactly.
And then you leave high school and you're like not around the same people, and you're like not being brainwashed into like being into like the specific mold of who people want you to be and your friends. And then it's like, oh, like I'm actually really into politics and I don't have to be ashamed about this. Or it's like, I'm really interested in religion, I don't have to be ashamed about this. And it's like all these things where you're like actually getting to know who you are, and it's like, I'm very spiritual, I can talk about it, and it's like, it's all these things that you don't feel embarrassed to talk about anymore, and then wanting to choose peace and being kind of like you said, like isolated. Like I so resonate because like I have a few friends and my mom's always like, you need more friends, and I'm like, no
I don't.
like I'm actually so at peace.
Sisa, you're allowed to just know people. Like I feel like I get a sense that a lot of people in our generation who are not like, who maybe don't think the same way that we do, feel like you need to be friends with everyone, and like if not, like there's like some shady beef going on there. Like I know I remember once like there's just like sometimes I just go on random unfollowing sprees where I'm just like, I don't care about this shit no more, so I just like unfollow. And at some point there was one girl that I used to follow in high school, and like I just didn't like her content, and I was just like, unfollow.
Yeah, I would do that. I did that.
Imagine this.
I did that in high school. People
She messaged me.
Bruh.
She messaged me and she was like, oh, I don't know if it's like, if it was like a mistake or something, but I noticed that like you don't follow me and I don't follow you. I just wanted to let you know, like, I didn't like unfollow you or anything. And like I was like, yeah, I know you didn't follow me because like I made that happen. And anyways, I'd never been in that situation before because I didn't want to be like, I just don't care about your content. And it's not like I didn't care, I just didn't align with me.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to see your content.
So and then I was trying to be like, how can I do this so sound like an asshole? But I was like, hey, like, no offense, I just like,
you're so kind, I wouldn't care. Like, get off my line.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, no worries. And I was like,
no, because it's like, if you don't post, I'm like, why am I following you?
But also it's if you post and like
it doesn't align with
why am I following you? Like, because I forget that's my social media.
Exactly.
It is your social
it's
media.
I don't
it's
need
your
to,
social media. It's your phone.
I'm allowed to be at peace when I open my fucking Instagram.
You know
like, I actually decide my own algorithm. Like, it's actually crazy.
And like, not like no tea, no shade, but like, you know, a lot of people that you follow in high school, sometimes their interests, they don't change, and they still, you know, participate in those types of activities. And as you grow up, you realize, like you said, it's your page, and now that you are no longer in those same environments, you don't feel the obligation to like necessarily follow them if they don't align. And that's
like, it's not an insult.
It's not shade. You
maybe
know,
it's shade. Maybe it's a little bit of shade.
Maybe it's a little tiny.
But if I haven't talked to you in like 2 years, like, I'm sorry, it's no shade, no tea. I'm just gonna unfollow you.
Yeah.
Why are you tracking? That's so
guess you're
weird.
About me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It's like sometimes I'll unfollow and follow all the time.
Yeah. Do you have an app? Like,
especially from a lot of the people from high school. I'm just like, I know a lot of you guys didn't like me because a lot of you guys were rude to me. So like,
so
why am I following you?
So
real.
Like,
why are you so interested?
Me now?
Yeah. I agree.
Especially like the last like 10th and 11th grade, like my depression went.
Yeah.
I could not tolerate being around people. Like I was really just like mute.
Yeah.
And like everything
so
like
steep.
people would just say to me, which is I would just want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
And like like I would just like, and I felt really embarrassed by those tears. Now I don't really care. Now we're just like moving on and we're living.
Yeah, girl.
But looking back, it just I'm just like, damn, my younger self like is really just like struggling. Like thank God for my therapist, because my therapist is always like, whenever you like feel like those waves of anxiety or depression or whatever, like go back to a place where like you felt your most authentic. So like me as my youngest self, like low-key the feelings that you're feeling right now is because you weren't healed, like you weren't helped at that time when you were younger and you were feeling those feelings, right? So think of your younger self when you're feeling those waves of sadness and hug yourself, because back then you didn't get those hugs that you needed. So that's why it's really hard for you to deal with those triggers now. So it's like, don't just be like, deal with it, like actually like cry about it, resonate with yourself, think about your younger self and be like, feel bad for her, like feel bad for her in a way it's not like loathing, but like feel bad where it's in a way it's like you were just a little girl and you're still a little girl, your little person is still within you, like
healing through self-reflection. I love that.
So yeah, that's been like a cool little thing I've done with my therapist. Do you go to therapy? Are you into therapy? I do.
I am into therapy. That shit is just expensive.
Yes. Oh my God. This is a bag.
It's more.
They got for insurance. Well, for me, covered.
Yeah, I have insurance now, luckily, because I'm full-time now. But I definitely think I would have benefited from therapy like the last 4 years for sure.
It's so hard to actually like get help when it's so expensive.
But now I finally have one. We just started last month, but because it was like the holidays, it was a little bit all over the place, but now we're gonna have more regular sessions. But yeah, no, I'm all for therapy, despite I know like probably you've dealt with this, but our cultural backgrounds tend to like not be so inclined to that stuff. I don't know about
it really like to push my parents for therapy, like I mean, I think my sister Starkey, thank you for Femidajo. She really was the push for honestly medication, like because of her, honestly that's why like me and my sister can honestly get the medication, because she really like pushed for that, because like she was 17 when she was like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like she really pushed for that and like really like for our parents on for that.
I love that.
So like she really did that for herself, and that really helped for me, because I remember I was about to start first year. And then I had my yearly breakdown of like beginning of the school year that I always have. And my sister totally was like, you can't do this anymore. Go talk to your doctor. Tell her what is going on. Yeah. Like, be honest. If you have to exaggerate, because like
you always have to exaggerate.
Yes, if you have to exaggerate, because in those moments where you don't feel depressed anymore, you kind of think that you were delusional and like you were going through it for no reason. Like,
maybe
you're
that
dramatic.
Is your depression.
No, but like there's so many times I'm like, it took me years to even name it as depression or anxiety.
No, same.
Honestly, just this year I really started coping with that term.
No, seriously.
Before I was just like, no, it's not even that. Like I used to really like gaslight myself. Also, because I think that like because of like how I grew up culturally and all of that. So I used to just gaslight myself like, no. But then my sister's like, girl, you're not okay. So I got that medication, and like I'm now like on like 100 milligrams, and I'm doing good. And it's like, imagine if I wasn't. Imagine if I wasn't. Like I was waking up like shaking and shivers. Like
that's what
I remember like waking up like. I remember looking at my old like videos on my computer, and it was just like me waking up in the morning, like my heart just like pounding and like not understanding why I can't go back to bed. I'm just anxious, like there's no tomorrow. Like
no, absolutely. I'm definitely pro meds. I'm on like 2 right now, like for ADHD, like depression and anxiety, and #PTSD. But I think we were talking about it earlier, just like right before we started filming, but I'm a huge advocate for whatever helps you get through the day, as long as it's legal, type of thing.
Yeah.
But because
like don't do cocaine.
You know what I'm saying? But like Because
It's really
imagine,
big here.
because before I started taking medication, I was kind of like you. I was masking a lot, and I was just like going through the motions. And since I was able to still get some things done, even though I was miserable, like I was still getting things done, right? So in my head, I was like, yeah, kind of delulu. And I was like, well, it's fine. I guess it's not that bad because I was able to submit, like, I was able to submit my exam, blah, blah, blah. But in the back of my mind, like, I was still trying to, like, drive off the highway. So, you know what I'm saying? And finally, I told a doctor that, and she was like, oh, let me hold your hands when I tell you this.
Yeah.
That is not normal.
That's not normal. There's so many times I'm like, that's not normal. But sometimes some things, like, are like normal reactions. Like I remember yesterday I was having this whole panic about like life and how like life is not worth living sometimes, guys. Like why is there so many things that you have to do in this small amount of time?
It's a lot of effort.
But then my sister, like as I was having this whole breakdown, because I'm like, I'm not able to do this. Like I'm just like, I'm not built for this. But it's like nobody is. Like this is actually like such a mundane. This is such a mundane experience. Like this is such a normal experience because like no one is able to.
Yeah, no, actually unplug my machine. Like, I always say that. Like if like say hypothetically we're all attached to like some giant ass computer and we're all playing like some game of life, I always say like unplug me, bitch, I'm done playing. Actually no, seriously, like if it was like, oh hey, like do you want to like keep playing and like go to like 30 level mode, or like do you want to just tap out? I'd be like, tap me the fuck out. Thank you, queen. Nice, it was nice. I already did the big boss and I think it was great. It was great. 100%. Wouldn't do it again.
Real. Yeah, I think it's like
4 out of 5.
No, because life is actually so hard sometimes, and it worsens when you have like these obstacles, like having mental health like issues.
My mom once said she didn't have a mental health.
Oh my god,
that is how deep. I love that woman, but that's how deep it runs in Black culture. Like I once was telling her like you would benefit, because I was talking about going to therapy, and she was like, you don't need no therapy, we don't need therapy, we're normal. And I was just like, first of all, that wasn't normal, and then I was like, I don't think it's like, you know, it's good to talk about my problems. Like, maybe you would get... And she was like, me? I don't need therapy. I don't have a mental health. Oh. I was like, okay, girl. I think you needed that.
I tell my mom constantly, I say, woman, you have intense anxiety. You got ADHD. Like, this woman, when she's stressed, she has to clean. And, like, she gets overwhelmed so quick, but can't. Like, she doesn't remember things. She's always late, but then has things in order. Like, she doesn't organize herself properly, and like it literally just stresses my dad out. And like I remember one time during Christmas, me out. My dad had to get me to do stuff for her because she's like, your mother always like leaves things to the last minute, because and then there's no freaks concept out of time. Everybody. So I'm like, yeah, girl. I'm like, yeah, your wife got ADHD.
Yeah, your wife got ADHD. So real, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like most of us have ADHD.
No, my mom is always like, I don't have what you guys have,
and I'm like, baby, you gave it to me.
It's like, baby,
whenever I say you have anxiety, she's like, I rebuke that. Like that's not something I said. Yeah, great, rebuke it. You still have it, babe. Like, I don't like keep doing it. Yeah, like it is still there.
I love the like rebuke.
I know.
She's like, okay,
she like slightly say like little things like, you know, I'm going through it. I'm doing this. Like, yeah, girl, you are.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk. That's my whole
actually
point.
Sit down, talk about it. My mom and I meditated the other day.
This girl was like,
that.
My father left me. I'm supposed to be in therapy. And I was like, yeah, girl.
You should.
Yeah, girl.
You should, queen.
Yeah, girl.
You should. My mom got her car stolen last week. She was so upset. Like, she kind of snapped at me and she was like, I'm sorry. I think this car thing is bothering me. And I was like,
yes,
girl.
Like,
yes. And I was like, I took her hands and I was like, let us meditate. And she was actually open to it. I put on her headphones and I put on release negativity.
Yes.
And then she actually was like holding on to me and she's like, and it was like, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So yeah, whenever you find, whenever I think it's important, as we grow up, because our parents are kind of growing up with us in this new generation that we are in, like pro mental health and all that, especially like Black women. And so I think like whenever you can find moments to like have a moment with your loved ones or your siblings that may not be like from this Canadian culture and into like mental health, like I think you should, like little stuff like want to meditate, or like when my sister's like comes home from school and she's like, I fucking had like the worst day ever, instead of just being like sucks, going upstairs and eating my cereal, I like sit down on the couch and I'm like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, like
being intentional with other people
Yeah.
as well, and not just
Being emotionally
like,
aware.
yeah, and
express gratitude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing I've been like also trying to do better, especially with my sister too. It's like sometimes when I come home, I'm so annoyed and tired, I don't want to talk to her, but she's been at home all day, not talking to anybody. And
Exactly.
I used to also like consider her feelings too, and I'm like, yeah. So I've been trying to like honestly suck it up, because it's like Loki should do it too. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's like a wrap on for today.
Yeah. It might be a wrap.
Yeah. So
Anyways, thanks,
thank you
Mel.
so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was so fun.
Feel great.
And don't forget to be CUNTY.
It's you like thinking about it in your head. I love it.